It's like, you know, the old French resistance in the war or something. You know, you had to keep quiet when you were out in society and doing your everyday job. But when you were among other people in the resistance, you could actually talk freely without fear of the reaction or fear of consequences. And it's similar at my events. You know, someone once, I was speaking in England at a place called Sheffield, and I was just about to go out to start, and someone looked through the curtains at the audience, and there was every walk of life you could think of, every age group you could think of, from 16 to kind of 70, 80. People with money, people not with money, people from this area of society, that area of society. And someone looking at, they said, what is the thing that connects all these people? And I said, an open mind, an open mind. Yeah. And it's wonderful for me to stand in front of the audiences of open-minded people, because by the end of the day, there's an energy in the room. Yeah. There's an energy in the room as all these open minds lock together, and it is absolutely fantastic. And I never tire of experiencing it, and it will be great to come to the Czech Republic and for the first time and do it there. I'm looking forward to it greatly.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
What do you prefer for your own work? Books, lectures, or something another?
Well, I like them all, really. I mean, when I start my books, and what happens is that I go about my other business, the website, the talks, the newsletters, the radio and television interviews that I do all the time. And then there comes a point where just something tells me, time to write another book. And the most intimidating part of writing the book is when you sit down on day one in front of a blank computer screen, nothing, not a word, yeah. And you start. Because the books, I mean, my new book has just come out in English, Human Race, Get Off Your Knees. It's 355,000 words. Oh. And I don't know, 600 and odd pages, and it's just a massive work. And back in March of 2009, I sat in front of a blank computer screen. And by January of the following year, with a great gap in between of traveling when I didn't do anything, but about 9 months later, 355,000 words were looking at me. Wow. And once you get to a certain point in writing the book where you've basically laid the canvas down, I then love weaving the whole thing together and weaving information into what I've already written. I love that part. And then off it goes, and you know, when it comes out, you know, it's great and all the rest of it, but it's not like, oh, I'm going to sit down now, oh, I've written a book, look, I've written a book. Okay, I've written a book, okay? Other people are circulating that. Boom, off we go. And so doing the talks is brilliant, because you're interacting with people directly. And, you know, I do a tremendous amount of interviews because, you know, you can talk to a radio station in America, and you can talk to 100, 200,000 people, maybe a lot more sometimes, in one go, from my, you know, my flat on the phone. And it's interesting that you keep doing this, and you keep doing this, and you keep doing this, you keep doing this year after year after year. And then suddenly you start to get the feedback of just how many people around the world this information has reached. And that is such a rush that drives you on when you realize actually it is making a difference. And never more so than today. You know, we're on the brink of a global revolution, not of violence, not of protest, but of people ceasing to be the unquestioning, acquiescent slaves that we've been up to this point, and starting to stop cooperating with a system that absolutely depends for its very existence on that cooperation. And that's, this is a time, a cusp of change when this tyranny is going to fall. And it won't be tomorrow, and for the next few years it's going to seem that nothing's going to stop it. It's going to seem that it's just going to bring it all in and no one's going to stop it. And then suddenly it's going to collapse. And there's reasons for this, energetic reasons. But, you know, our children and grandchildren are not going to live in a tyranny. But we're going to live in a increasingly expanding tyranny for the next few years. But the revolution's here, and the structure that holds it together is coming down. And that structure is the human race acquiescing to it. When that is removed, when we cease to be subservient to the few, and we refuse to be dictated to in terms of what we do, what we think, all the rest of it, then the very cement, the glue that holds this structure of power and suppression together falls. Because it's interesting. When you look at a pyramid, people think the power at the pyramid is at the top. But the top, the little bit, the capstone at the top of the pyramid is only up there because the rest of the pyramid's holding it up there. And that's what we're doing as a human race. The vast majority of people in this world do not want the violence, the conflict, the poverty, the hunger, the manipulation of our everyday lives, increasingly down to fine detail. They don't want that. So why do we have it? How many people want a war? How many people do you meet that actually want a war? Virtually nobody. I don't think I've ever met anybody that wanted a war that was outside the system's hierarchy. And then the question comes, so why do we have them? We have them because the few decide that they're going to have them, and then members of the majority who have not made that decision, they then go and fight them wearing uniforms and carrying weapons. And in the other country, the hierarchy there decides they're going to have a war too with these people, and they get their people from the masses in uniform to go and fight these people from the masses. Now, the people that on both sides that have declared the war or whatever, they're not hearing a gun fired in anger. They're drinking cocktails in Washington and Downing Street. But they get the people to fight each other. And if you took these people, if you took the people in the British Army and the American forces, well, most of them anyway, because some of them are so seriously programmed, they have no ability for free thought at all. But then you take some of these people, they're fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan, and you put them together in a room and they chat away, they probably get on great. But they never do that. They're never allowed to sit and talk to each other about their lives and their feelings and all the rest of it. No. It's you in uniform, that guy in the distance in uniform or whatever it is, he's your enemy. And the other guy over there is telling that person same about this person. And that's how it goes on. The few can control the many because the many allow it. And we're entering a period where I'm absolutely certain that the few, not too many years from now, are no longer going to allow it. Great time to be alive.
Sorry for this question, but I cannot help myself. Could you tell us something more about the world you have come from on the earth? Actually, do you think that people come from the various worlds, especially at this unique time?
Well, this reality is a very, very interesting place to experience for this reason. We're all the same consciousness, but different states of being, different states of awareness within that one consciousness vibrate to different frequencies. So if you are in a suppressed state of awareness and you are in a very expanded state of awareness, at the level of disembodied consciousness, energy if you like, those two frequencies couldn't interact with each other. It's like a radio station, Radio Prague or something, being on this wavelength and another radio station being on this wavelength. They'll share the same space, but they'll never meet. These vehicles, these holographic computer systems we call the human body, they are resonating within this frequency. So consciousness of an expanded state can experience this this reality through the physical body, just as an expression of consciousness in a suppressed, limited state can also experience this reality through that same body, another body, because the bodies are resonating within the frequency range of this reality, and therefore anyone that becomes embodied in those computer systems I call the human body, they can experience this reality, which means that here is a world in which people with advanced awareness and people with suppressed awareness can sit in the same bar and have a chat. They can interact. So it's a wonderful kind of cocktail of infinite different levels of awareness and perceptions that can interact here, where they can't in a disembodied state because they're on different frequencies. And so it makes it an incredibly interesting place to experience. And of course, potentially a very challenging one because of all the different influences there are. But it's an incredible place to see all expressions of life, and especially now when this reality is going through the most monumental transformation for the better.
And would you be a little bit specific? Like, do you believe that we are like coming from the different star systems?
Well, in the end, in our disembodied consciousness state, we are just awareness. But that awareness can experience other, if you like, body vehicles that we would call extraterrestrials, that have lives on other planets, in other dimensions of reality, other frequencies, in other star systems and all the rest of it. So you could say that, you know, consciousness that has experienced, I don't know, Orion or Sirius or something, then comes here and experiences this, and people might talk about, oh, you know, I come from another star system, I come from Sirius, or I come from Orion or Andromeda or somewhere, but and that may be kind of true in the sense that I'm talking about, but in the end, what we call Andromeda and Sirius and Orion and the Earth, these are all just parts of this holographic computer system, which is a way that we can experience many different experiences, and we are consciousness, awareness in the end, all of us. It's just that some people are more open to the greater consciousness, i.e. they have expanded perception and awareness of self and reality, and others are more closed. And the control system that I've been exposing this past 20 years, its foundation techniques are all based on closing people's sense of awareness. So they see everything in terms of limitation. I can't, I have no power. And there are people now in this reality and coming into this reality more and more as what we call children, who have that expanded awareness to offer another explanation for life and everything to those that are in that state. So it's just an incredible time, and people say, oh, I'm boring. It's boring. Life's so boring. Well, crikey, you know, this is just an amazing time in an amazing place, and we need to encompass it and turn it into an adventure, because that's what it is.